Hello everybody, welcome to another tutorial at yet another solution.blogspot.com. Here we are going to cover up how we can choose the frames per second in the new iMovie. This is the iMovie version 10.0.3. So maybe in later versions this kind of problem are there a solution on, but so far there are no solution on that directly, because as you may remember that in earlier versions of iMovie you could go in under project properties, then in under project properties you can find a solution for the frame rate. You had to do this in the start of the project without any video in the project, but then you could choose between 24, 25 or 30 frames per second. So when we tried to find that option to find that in iMovie, there are no way to do that now in this version of iMovie. As you can see here on the iMovie preferences, there are some options there, but not for the frames per second, and even under the movie properties there, as you can see here, there are no way to put in the frames per second. Then I played around with some different files and kind of find a solution on that, and I found that that when you start with a specific video with a specific frames per second in the start of the project, then the project end up with the result of that frames per second. So I'm going to show you there that here now. So but before we start with that, I want to tell you that these three files here, I call them frames per second switch for the new iMovie. They are all downloadable at yet another solution.blogspot.com. So this file and this file and this file kind of work as a switch for the frames per second. And also you can download this convert table there at yet another solution.blogspot.com, and also this file here if you want to play around with the 240 frames per second file, or this 50 frames per second file if you want to play around with those files for fun. And as you can see here, we have a convert table, really useful. It's not advanced mathematical things, but it's really useful. If we for instance have a source file with 120 frames per second, we want to slow it down 5 times slower. We want to end up with a result over 24 frames per second, and then we slow it down in iMovie 20 times. Okay, we want it to be 24 frames per second. Then we choose this in the start of the project. Okay, we take this down and in the start of the project. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, like this, and we can now for fun take this bird here. This bird here is a clip done with the GoPro Hero 2, so it's a kind of horrible quality of the video, but still kind of show what we are after. Okay, when we put this bird there, after that we have put it there, we have kind of now chosen the 23.98 frames per second. We can then delete this, and if we want to slow it down, we can slow it down, for instance 20 times just for fun. And then go in under custom to find 20%. Okay, 20% there. Okay, then we render that out. Share file. Okay, bird. Okay, the file is ready. We can show that, but no, not the skier. And as we can see here in under the inspector, you find the inspector here under the window there, show movie inspector. Here you can see we have now the control over the frames per second. The file is in 23.98, so that's really nice. And as you can see here, it's really cool slow motion, because if you see here in under the frame number, we can see that if you use the arrow key on the keyboard, you can see that every frames have a new picture. So that's really nice that we have this kind of control over the frames per second in the exported material. Okay, this source file is not perfect, but still really cool when you see at the bird here jumping to get some water there. Okay, so then if we want to change the frames per second, for instance, we want to change it to 25 frames per second. As an example, this video is done in 50 frames per second. So then when we have 50 frames per second and want to have a correctly control over that video, it's kind of nice to end up with the result in 25 frames per second. We could then maybe think that it's enough for us to just do like this, put this 25 frames per second, not there. One moment, I go back and do that. Undo add. Okay. Take this in front of the project, but that's not enough for changing to 25 frames per second, because the project have to be empty for the selection to be done. Okay, we delete that, and then we take this 25 frames per second in the start of the project, and then we can take this in here. We can, for fun, this also we can take down to half speed. Okay. Oh, this one is not in half speed, the other one was in 5 times slower, this was in half speed. Okay, and when we export that, we can see how the files ends up. It's one there from before, but that's not, we can replace that. Okay, here we go, that was finished, so there, okay, Windsurfer. And as you can see now in the inspector, it's 25 frames per second. So I really hope you find this really useful. I hope this solution for other people out there. And again, if you want to download these files, you can do it at yetanotherSolution.com. And also, if you want this convert table, you can do it there. To be honest, this video is kind of some spin-off from big tutorials series about slow motion. So if you want to be go more detailed into slow motion, there are a lot of tutorials at the blog. Okay, bye bye for now.